All right, guys, let's go over the plan for our final regular season game tomorrow against Turbo. So, as I sent a message out via Team Snap, I said that there was an error in what I sent out, and I had left Logan off the roster. So he's back in here. So that just means that we have 20 available players for the game tomorrow night. So just know that obviously if all 20 are arriving on time, there's still going to be a chance that we have 2 players that are not going to be able to get on the field just based on substitution restrictions. But again, we have a quick turnaround. We've got a playoff game on Wednesday, so maybe resting some individuals wouldn't be a bad thing. So game day itinerary, same as it's always been. Kickoffs at 7. We're on site at Oxford at 5:30. This has been the standard, so make sure that you're able to do that. If you can't, you have to communicate that to me. Please do so ahead of time. But other than that, same routine. I'm just trying to keep that routine going and keep that to build us momentum into the kickoff at 7. Match objectives, just a little bit more simple today, really focused on our role out of possession. We want to be really organized on regaining our shape once we lose it. Wing backs must be willing to jump and press, so we'll look at that a little bit. And then our strikers, to be honest, have to just be willing to do a little bit more defensive work and help us. When we defend in that 5-3-2, the 2 strikers have to do a little bit more work coming back in and helping us back tackle. In possession, focus on these 3 things. So we're looking at, we want constant movement in behind. We worked on that on Wednesday, gave you some ideas, but we want to have someone always threatening their back line. We need them to worry about that space. Increase the speed of circulation for our back 3. Just needs to be a higher rhythm, especially if you're going to penetrate inside. That decision has to be played early and quickly. It can't be delayed because then it's easy to read. And then attacking mids, really focus on getting your starting point up between the midfield and back line of the opposition, so we find those gaps to sit in. And then finally, it's another opportunity to earn your place moving forward. We've got big things coming for this team with the national level playoffs ahead of us. And then obviously with the movement that the club's making, you need to, make a stake for your place in the club as we continue to progress and push soccer forward with Minneapolis City. Starting 11, some changes which are going to be good for us. Mitch will still be in goal. Will, Logan, and Ethan across the back. Scotty as the 6. Luke will be the left wing back. Adam King is going to be on the right side. And then Jacob Popkin and Stephen Wright will be our 2 starting 10s with Derek and Jacek up front. So still a very dangerous group of starting players. And obviously we've got really good players that are able to come into this and make this even better. We've seen this before. Make sure that you're familiar with your role within that structure. Looking at Turbo, similar to last week, and then they're going to set up in a 4-2-3-1, or there's a chance that they're going to do that. So it's important that we're able to exploit those spaces I've highlighted in here. So if our wing back is able to sit in that gap in between the 2 lines, we're able to play around their front 3 and really expose their back 4 and turn that back 4 into a 5 versus 4 in our favor. So as I noted, if we can get their outside back to jump out and try to press our wing back, can we get that movement from the striker or attacking mid in behind that player? That's the space that we're looking to get in behind over and over. So a little video action. And we did this a little bit on Wednesday. Here's kind of a bigger video of showing you what it's going to look like. So as we look at it again, the balls come out to our right center back, circulates out to our right wing back. So now the ball side striker checks in to collect the feet, and that's the cue for the backside striker to really just be willing to make that run in behind. Another example is similar concept, but now we're going to look at how the strikers check deep, sets the ball, the attacking mid sees it, and makes that same movement in behind. So all these movements are based on the idea that we're using our wing back to pull the opposition out of that slot, and then we get movements in behind their outside back. So making sure that this is something that we have in our locker is this ability or willingness to run in behind the back line. All right. So looking a little bit more from a defensive shape perspective, um, it's really like, I think the thing, if we look at Vlora and where we struggled, was our wing backs were really hesitant to jump out and press their outside backs. This is something that we have to do. We'll be able to shift across and deal with it. But again, the two things highlighted here are our wing backs being willing to jump out and press, and then our strikers helping back and back tackling, which we didn't do too well early on in that game. So now, Vlora, let's say, this is similar from a Vlora, but now we got Turbo's rotated the ball out to their left back. Our 2 has to jump out and press them. Now, when I spoke with Adam and some of our other wingbacks last night, when you jump to go squeeze that ball, you cannot allow it to get back into the space that you left. So in this case, our right wing back steps to the ball. His body shape and angle cannot allow the ball to get back down line into the space that he is vacating. That's the space they want to attack. So we got to make sure that we at least force the ball backwards or back inside where we've got some numbers. But we do not want the ball to come down that line. And then finally, if we're looking again at the high press situation, here's an example of where we're able to do that because they play with 2 holders, or 2 10s can match up on their holders. Our holding mid can sit on their 10, and we can then be aggressive. It's important to note, especially as we rotate our strikers in, if our striker leaves their center back to press through onto the goalkeeper, you cannot allow the goalkeeper to play the ball back from which the space you left. It's the same thing as we talked about with our wing backs jumping on the outside back. You have to be willing to take up a shape that doesn't allow the ball to go back from which you left. And also highlighting, we did this probably almost too conservatively against Vlora, was our wing backs need to sit in the gap between the opposition's wingers and their outside backs. So if they do play long, they can drop in and help support our back 3 and not leave them isolated 3-on-3. Set pieces, this will be attached in the PDF sent out with the video, and the rest of the stuff is pretty straightforward. But I think, for you guys, it's important that we see this. We focus on these things, we keep it really simple, and then we go back and we get the final 3 points. Let's end the season on a win, and obviously that would put us on, I believe, 7 straight wins or 6 straight wins to finish the season. I think it's 7. So just momentum heading into the national playoffs. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow at 5:30.